Good morning, LinkedIn Live. Coming up on today's show, we have Alex Hampton and Sherry, if we can get Sherry on the show. So it's going to be an interesting show today, but let's see how we get on. Okay, so good morning. Hold on a moment. There we go. All right, there we go. Morning, guys. How's it going today? Another great show lined up today. Yeah, busy week at the Cobra Club. So I want to give a big shout out to a few new members in the club, which is great. So let's give a shout out to the new members. Let's just hit this button and away we go. Okay, I'd like to welcome Hilary Salt to the Cobra Club. Fantastic, nice to meet you, Hilary. And then I'd like to introduce Heidi Summers to the Cobra Club. And then Crystal Turner, great to meet you, Crystal, the other day. And then Chris Wainscroft, Peter Wimster, and Laura Ann Williams. Fantastic. So shine bright at the Cobra Club. It's all happening at the moment, which is great news. Fantastic. So what we've got coming up this month is quite a lot going on inside the club, and we have this big property event which is happening literally in the second Thursday of September. So before we get our first guest on, what I'm going to do is play this little property video. So if anyone's out there in the property world looking to get into property, then check this out, and then when we come back we'll get our first guest in. So let's just find this video. There we go. News. Okay, right, we're back in the room. So yeah, that's the big property event coming on literally sort of next Thursday. So that is between 2 and 4:30 in the Cobra Club. Get yourself down on Eventbrite or get in contact with John Foy in Property Connect, and yeah, come and join the club. So fantastic. So what we're going to do now, let's play a little video, and when we come back, we are going to get Mr. Alex Hampton into the room. So here we go. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Andrew. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Nice to see you. Welcome to the Gritty Business Show here live on LinkedIn.
Thank you.
So what I normally do, Alex, is ask a little bit about a bit about you and a bit about your journey, and I suppose in business, where you've been, what you've been working for, and leading up to what you're doing now. So I wonder if you could let us know what it's all about, please, Alex.
Sure, of course. Well, I started doing graphic design actually,
Okay.
and I did that for about 2 years freelance. And I sort of wound up here because this is at SupportWise, because I've always had an interest in computers. I mean, I build my own. I love to tinker. I love doing it, and it turns out I'm quite good at getting across the jargon, shall we say, of IT to most people. I'm a bit of a translator for my boss, Chris, who's the genius of the operation. And so it was quite a natural transition to go into IT support, and I'm really enjoying it. So yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, there is a lot of jargon to know, isn't there, in terms of
That's right. Yeah.
all the jargon. Hold on, I've just got a quick mystery guest coming in very briefly, so let's add him to the stream. There he is, the man himself.
Sorry to be late, guys. How are you? I could not get my computer to work.
No worries.
Yeah. So
I knew somebody from a support sort of service that could help.
Yeah. Well, just to keep you updated, Ed, we've just got Alex in from SupportWise IT, and Alex has told us a bit about his background, leading to the word IT jargon, which is and we all know, for those of us aren't IT literate, that there is a lot of jargon out there, and I think you have to have that right mindset. Would you not agree, Alex, to understand what IT jargon means?
Definitely. It's like any industry. When you specialize, there's a lot of complexity that perhaps the layman might not get. But unlike other industries, IT is required by basically everyone. So I may not need to know the jargon of construction. Most people don't, because they don't work in construction. But any business that works in IT needs at least someone who can translate, because they need IT support.
I think you're right. Absolutely right. And we rely quite heavily on your company's services for running the Cobra Club. It's it's just fab for us. We rely on it, and we've got. I mean, Andy's very good at computers, etc. But it's constantly evolving, constantly changing. Things are constantly updating. So you need to have a good selection of people around you who can support you and get you through things quickly. Because normally it's for the IT professional, common sense because you know what to do.
Yes,
It's only not common sense or confusing for me because it's not my world.
Exactly. It gets to a point where it becomes intuitive on our side. And even if you're good at computers and if you've got an interest in it, if it's not your full-time job, it is very difficult to keep up with the latest. And there's a lot of niche and specialized areas that require sort of the full attention, as it were.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's an ever-changing sort of IT landscape out there, and yeah, how do you keep up with it all? I mean, is it like how research every night? Is it?
Yeah, there's a lot of places I follow that get me the latest news. I mean, of course, the big one on the horizon is Windows 11. If you've heard about that coming up.
No.
Yeah, Windows 11 is rolling out in October, and it's all brand spanking new. It looks very nice, but it's a big hurdle because it's a brand new operating system, and a lot of people are not quite ready for it. So we're trying to prepare the people that we work with to transition if they so desire. So yeah, there's news coming out all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there like a common theme that people, you meet people and they either haven't got support or they have got support and they struggle, but is there like a common theme that people generally, when you meet companies or individuals or business owners, that they all seem to have this constant same problem, which is
we so for example, take the trades. These guys are very on-site, very hands-on type people. They want to get on with their specific field. They don't want to fuss around with the computer side of things. It's not what they do. It doesn't help them directly, at least immediately. But without good IT, they are hampered. So, for example, there's one company that we're currently working with, who, when we were working with them to understand their needs, we found out that they had 4 separate systems that didn't really talk to each other at all. And so they'd have guys out on site who would require access to a design for blueprint, if you will. And they'd have to rummage through emails that go back and forth. And we discovered that, for example, the owner, if one of the guys on site phoned the owner and said, "Hey, we need this blueprint for this thing," and he was at home, he'd have to go to the office, log onto his computer there, and then send the file out to the bloke on site. Whereas now, he has a OneDrive folder that he can access from any device. He can access from his mobile at home, and if it's not already there, he can just upload it, and the guy on site can go onto the web portal for that and download it immediately. So already, for this one problem, we've eliminated potentially 3 hours worth of mess that he otherwise had to fight through.
100%. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a common thing. Streamlining, it's surprising. People don't quite realize how much can be streamlined until we show them the better way.
I think exactly that. I think you get into a routine with a lot of stuff, don't you? So you don't question what you do because you do it.
Exactly.
And it's one of the things that when you implement a change into businesses, there's resistance. And it's not because people are frightened of technology. It's because people are worried that they won't be important anymore. And absolutely they are. They can just have a far easier life. And
precisely.
Yeah, and do even more because of automation. So automation is a huge benefit, not just financially, but I think to the well-being of people too. And the example you just talked about there, that's just 3 hours of stress. Driving around, trying to find things, logging onto computers, it's not pleasant.
Yeah, exactly.
Just do it from your phone. It's a far more fun way of being.
And to try and do it themselves requires knowing where to start, even in the first place. But then you'd have to do the research. You'd have to do. You essentially have to train yourself, which is potentially hours and hours of effort, weeks maybe, for something that you're not even guaranteed to get at the end of it. Whereas if you go to an IT support company, they already know. They already have the knowledge base to implement these things, and then they maintain it for you. So, as someone in construction, they're already doing. These people, they do 60, 70 hours a week. Some of them on site. They've got a very busy schedule, and taking even more time out of their day to implement something that saves them, let's say an hour a day. They would rather just have that hour a day dealing with it than have to spend all that time all in one go learning the better way by themselves. They bring us along, we do all that for them, so we save them that hour a day, and they don't even need to go through all the hassle themselves.
Yeah, if they're paying, if they're a company that pays overtime, I suppose, that hour a day is certainly quickly outweigh your monthly cost anyway. So it is
exactly
is a win-win. Fantastic. So Alex, I'm going to play you a little VT. I'm going to put you on the spot just a little bit. So
sure.
Anyone out there sort of, in the IT, well, not in the IT world, in the business world, and they're in a bit of a mess about, their systems, or they don't know what to do, I wonder if you could give them a top tip. So here we go.
Right.
So, yes. What's your top tip then, Alex?
Top tip in general business, I suppose, would be, at the moment, backups. We really emphasize this. Every business has data that's important to them. Doesn't matter what industry you're in, you've probably got precious data, and losing it is a really big deal. Especially like take finances, for example, they lose customer data. They're in a world of trouble. Backups is something that every business needs. There's a rule of three, which is your main copy, which is the one you use. There is your on-site backup, which is on the same premises and is backed up very regularly. And then there's an off-site backup, which is in, somewhere else in the country, some county somewhere. And that one's updated less regularly, but it's really, really safe. And this rule of three makes sure that you basically never lose your data, which is incredibly important. And the great part about it is it's not just, for example, a virus that deletes your data. It protects against that, but it also protects against accidental deletion. Some people, they'll delete an email, incredibly important email, and they'll absolutely panic. They'll freak out. And if they haven't got a backup, that panic is quite justified. If they do have a backup, it's just as easy as a click away, and they've got it right back. Absolutely. So that is probably the most important thing.
And you owe it to your clients and to whoever you're dealing with to look after their data. So absolutely. It's they're giving you trust to do your service for them, or whatever the reason you've kept their data, they're giving you their trust, and you have an obligation to not just GDPR and all the rest of it, but a moral obligation to look after their data properly. So if you're not looking after data, it can be lost and can be irretrievable or can be nicked. Then you're not really looking after your clients very well. And that's where having a really good IT system benefits your business, but also benefits your clients, gives everyone peace of mind, saves you time, saves you money eventually, doesn't it?
It does, indeed. Especially on the money part, if you lose data, sometimes it can be recovered, but it's often an expensive process. Yep. If you haven't already got the systems in place. It requires specialized knowledge, a fair amount of time, and that costs money. The backup system in place, you're paying a very low amount a month, often as low as £5 a month. That can save you, in that particular instance, it can save you up to £8,000 a month to restore. So take a month to restore it, and cost you £8,000. I mean, it's just a nightmare. Or you could pay £5 a month, and it's so much easier.
So much better, and not risk getting fined by the ICO, and not losing your clients because they don't want to deal with you because you don't look after your data.
Exactly.
And with us leaving Europe, it's particularly important that you re-look at where your data is stored. Yeah. If it's being stored in America, you're not falling under our current GDPR laws. You probably need to have it stored in the UK. You probably need to have it stored within the EEA anyway. And a good IT company like yourselves can really help people to understand the storage of data, where it's being stored. Times are changing.
And compliance is a big part of data, and we definitely help our clients understand that for sure.
Brilliant. So if I was a client, Alex, or a potential client, how would I get hold of you guys?
Oh, well, there's numerous ways. We're all over LinkedIn, and we've just redone our website, which indeed you can see at the bottom there. And it's all very shiny and new. We're very proud of it. And you can contact us by phone and email as well, and we'll get right back to you.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, definitely sort of in terms of support-wise and what you do, Alex and Chris and the team, highly recommend the services provided by Support-wise IT services based in Swindon. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, Old Town Swindon.
And it's just been great sort of chatting to you today and finding out a little bit more about what you guys do. So for the moment we're going to say adios, and we'll sort of catch up at some point soon.
Thank you.
So I'm going to play this BT, and I'm going to put Ed on the spot. So thank you, Alex. Here we go.
Thank you. Nice talking to you.
Well, who's my hero? I wasn't expecting that, Mr.
I know you've got a new slot, Ed.
I'm very pleased. My hero of the week this week is Louise Maggs. I've been launching a product with Louise and a team of people in the Cobra Club, and Louise has just excelled. She's just fantastic. Supported me, supported the team, pulled things together, gone over and above, and provided a service that I could not have achieved or got anywhere else. So this week, my hero is Louise Maggs, and I would totally and utterly recommend Louise Maggs to anybody else. So that's graphic design by Louise Maggs.
Fantastic. Thanks, Ed. Highly recommend Louise too. So I've just got a couple more minutes and I'm going to get Shari in. But in the meantime, we've got a bit of news coming up. Well, the news, Ed. We have a new club opening up. This is Kath Kirkland. She was on the show last week, so she is starting up Cobra Turbo, and she's going to be doing the Business Speed Networking Business Generator event. So, speed networking down at the Cobra Club starts next Wednesday, which is the 8th of September, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. inside the Cobra Club. So, if you're a member, come along. If you're not a member, buy a ticket. It's on Eventbrite, or pop your details in the comments so we'll give you a link to the tickets. Happy days.
Speed networking.
I've got a little comment from Alan. Hello, Alan. We all love Louise. Good choice. There you go.
Yeah,
good choice, Ed.
Thank you.
All right. So what we're going to do, Ed, I'm going to roll this VT, and when we come back, we're going to have the wonderful Shari Barber Bailey in the room. So here we go. Hi, Shari.
Hi, Andy. How are you doing?
Yes, very well. And you?
I'm great, thanks. Yeah.
Good.
Nervous. Just remembered why. Sorry?
I'm loving your harp.
Yeah, I keep thinking I must learn to play it too. It's my daughters. They both learn.
It's beautiful.
Fantastic. And is this your first time live on social media?
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty easy. We'll take it gently on you. But I mean, obviously the Gritty Business Show has been running for a few months now, and if you've watched it, I just start with a pretty simple question: is, Shari Barber Bailey, what's your journey? Where have you been, Shari? What have you been up to? What leading up to, your current sort of position, which I believe is utility warehouse? So, where's the journey? Where'd that start?
Well, obviously, since I am representing Utility Warehouse, my background is medical writing. I started off medical school but dropped out and ended up being a medical writer, which was fabulous. I travelled the world. I was paid to go to conferences in Australia, South America, all over the place, and interview top opinion leaders, and it was just an amazing career. And then I went freelance and basically did the same, but on my own terms, which I thought was brilliant until I had children. And it worked really, really well doing freelance work when it was just me. But once I had kids in the house, I discovered the only time I could actually concentrate enough to do that work was after.
I think the Welsh
9 o'clock at night. And I did, because when I was freelance, sorry.
No, we got great pause.
When I was freelance, I'm sorry.
It's stuttering on the internet.
That's all right. Take it away now, Sherry.
I'm sorry.
You're back in the room now, Sherry.
I probably have too many tabs on my laptop. Give me a minute. I'm on fibre to the property, so I should be fine.
That's fine. We get all sorts with Ed. He drops in, drops out. He hangs for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, Lockeridge is an interesting part of the world. Probably very related to Wales in connection speed.
So carry on, Sherry. You it all changed when you had kids.
Yeah. So anyway, I discovered that I could only actually concentrate on the writing work, which is incredibly intensive, after about 9 o'clock at night. And so I realised it wasn't really sustainable. I had a health scare as well, which turned out absolutely fine. Much stress I was getting with the writing. And I had this little sideline I had. Because the writing paid well, but it wasn't a steady monthly income, I was doing this little thing on the side that just gave me the odd hour. I put the odd hour in here and there, and it gave me a monthly income that was quite useful background. And it suddenly occurred to me that I didn't need the stress of the medical writing anymore. I apologise for the lighting, but I can't control the clouds. And so I could just make my little sideline into my main thing, which is what I did.
Yeah, and there's that. So I suppose it's a brand new world, isn't it? You haven't got the stresses and strains of business anymore. Your own boss. And the thing I like about Utility Warehouse is A, that you save people money, but B, they have an opportunity to do what you do as well, don't they? I believe, is that right?
Absolutely, and that's actually what I'm most excited about, is helping people to get the same. I was really lucky that when I came to the point where I realised that the career that had served me really well until then just wasn't serving me well anymore, I already had my plan B on the shelf, but not everyone has that. And introducing people, the system now we have of, there's an induction phase, there's mentorship. I do the first appointments for my new team members, and it's just, I get a double dose of warm and fuzzies because I'm helping the new team member and I'm helping their friends to save money. So that's what I really, really love doing.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. It's a really wonderful thing, actually. What it does, because it enables a lot of people who typically, how do you enter the marketplace? If you've been out of the job world for a long period of time, it's very difficult to just walk back in again and just sort of start making money. And actually, UW accepts that and sort of works with people and enables them to be able to get back to work quickly and earn good money, doing a really good service and helping. It's a win-win-win situation, really, isn't it? They benefit, their clients benefit, and it's not hard sell. It's sort of like, do you want to save some money? I mean, it's quite a gentle sell, really. Isn't it?
It is. I mean, I just show people. Yeah. No, I just show people, and then they decide whether they fancy giving it a go. And yeah, there's a lot of the training and a lot of the skills that we gain are transferable as well. So many people find that it actually helps them in other aspects of the work life, because most people do this as well as something else. For most people, it is that little sideline. Not everyone chooses to do it as the only thing they do. I mean, I have children, so that's a full-time job anyway.
There are people in your organisation turning over six-figure incomes. I mean, there's people doing jolly well. So I think it's sort of what I love about when I hear you guys talk is that people can work as much or as little as they want to, and earn as much or as little as they want to earn. It's up to them, as opposed to the company saying you've got to earn, you've got to do this, you've got to work 9 to 5. And actually, sometimes you can't, especially with things like kids and stuff, you can't. Maybe the only time you have available is the mornings or the afternoons or whatever it is. And UW can work around that, or you can show people how to help, work their lives around the business, which is quite unique, really.
Very much so. Sorry, Andy.
No, I just think it's really good. You haven't got that pressure to have to perform. It's up to you.
In fact,
if you're motivated, you can go and do it. If you're not, you don't feel up for it. It's there isn't that pressure from the top, I believe. Is that right?
Yep. And funnily enough, I was talking to somebody yesterday who is a mortgage advisor. So the obvious synergy. Top performer in our team is a mortgage advisor, and it really works well for them. And he asked me about Target specifically, and I said no. There are carrots. There are incentives that we can choose to go for if we want, and as long as you do something, you will get paid. So you don't have any. You have to achieve this to get it. It's And people often ask me how much time they need to put in, and I say, well, it's entirely up to you. We have a discussion about that. You tell me.
And a quick question for you, Shari. Obviously it's tight out there. A lot of families' incomes are getting squeezed. And what's the difference that you obviously see the extremes from the people who really need to save money to the people that it's nice to save a few bob, but I'm doing all right. But for the people that really need to save money, what difference does it make to these people, and how much can they save? What's been the biggest sort of life-changing moment that you've sort of delivered someone in terms of a saving?
This kind of question always makes my mind go blank, but I'll give you a personal one, and it's very, very small. My mother-in-law actually became our customer, and we went down for Easter Sunday, sort of thousands of people in the house, quite a big family, my husband, and my mother-in-law had a tray with Lindt bunnies on, it's a really high-class chocolate for all her dozens of grandchildren.
Oh.
And usually she was a bit more basic in her chocolate choices, and she said to me, I've saved the money since I switched, so I can afford to buy the Lindt ones.
That's really sweet.
And I thought, that's really small, but that's a real difference. And, yes, I have saved people thousands. I've had people who had a big house and their energy bill was 3,000 or 4,000 a year. And I saved them 1,000 or 2,000 just on the energy alone. And then I saved them hundreds more on the telephony. But it's more meaningful when it's something like that, because it's concrete, and it's for the people for whom the difference between Cadbury's and Lindt is meaningful. I think that's more meaningful. But to be honest, I think I get more pleasure out of those, even though that's not the most profitable for me.
It's a fascinating thing, and it's not just saving money; it's also getting better service and a more ethical sort of supply as well. Because I think you guys are very green in your approach to the world, aren't you? So it's which is quite good.
Yeah.
So you plant a lot of trees, and you're doing a lot of green energy now, aren't you? So tell me about your green credentials.
Right. First of all, UW is one of the top companies for getting the smart meters in, and that's all in-house, so that is done well. We've had somebody out to look at our setup, and he was brilliant, just behaved impeccably and very new stuff. Another thing, yes, as you say, we've got a green tariff, and it's our fixed rate tariff, so it's actually the best one because this month prices are due to go up. And it is 100% wind, water, and sun. Apparently, some so-called surprised me, but ours doesn't. And the trees, I love the trees. I have lost count, but I think it's 120 something thousand that they have planted since last October, November they started. And they are in the Brecon Beacons, the first UW woodland. It's at Bryn Arw, near Abergavenny. And I've seen videos of it, and we can go and visit it. They've improved access so people can visit it. And I'm really looking forward to seeing it myself.
You can actually go and visit it. That's quite lovely. So a lot of people, when they have these tree schemes, they're planting them in places that you'd never actually get to, Sweden or somewhere, up in the Arctic Circle. So for actually to be here, to be able to go and touch and see the difference that you're making is quite lovely.
Yeah, and again, somebody asked me about what tree species, and it's a mixture. I think it's about 5 species of native deciduous trees.
So listen, I know that you've got quite a background, i.e. you've been through the medical world. You and I both have medical parents and those sides of things. So just what's your inspiration? What sort of drives you to do what you do? And I'm going to, before you answer, I'm going to play a very short VT so we can find out. Motivation. Whose words make you get up in the morning and achieve what you do achieve? Because you're a really successful lady, and it's just quite interesting how you pick yourself up and make yourself do things.
Well, I have a lot of support from my mentor in UW, who is very inspiring, and probably one of those people you've mentioned who are doing incredibly well. And support. I'm what my mentor calls the sandwich generation. So I live next door to my parents. And one of the things that UW gives me the flexibility to do is that I could be there for them. And this morning before this, I took my father for an emergency dental appointment. And it's very important to me that I'm there for that kind of thing. And then I have 2 children who are both, the second one starting secondary school tomorrow. We had them relatively late, and the business that I'm building right now, they will inherit.
That's fantastic.
So I think possibly that's the most important thing to me, is that whatever happens to us, they will have a secure income and a business that they can choose to grow. And one of them, there is a reason I've read that one of them might only have 1 in 5 chance of permanent employment. So,
better pass on, isn't it?
Yeah. That's my motivation.
That's quite amazing. Absolutely amazing. I didn't know that about UW. So you can pass on your UW business, if you like, to your family. You can will it on. It's incredible. What a generous company.
Yeah, happy days.
Happy days.
Yeah, brilliant.
So if I wanted...
Before we start, I just want to say hi to Christina. Who says, hi, Sherry. Hello, Andrew and Ed. Hope the sound's all right today, Christina. Christina's our sound expert out there, who lets me know when we're echoing, and hopefully we're not echoing too much today. So nice to see you, Christina. So if we needed to get in touch with you, Sherry, how would we go about contacting and do you do like a free meeting? How does it all work?
I have a chat with people. I show them how UW works, and basically just, give them a free consultation, and they can see how easy it would be. And then they just decide whether they want to give it a go or not. That's how it works. I do it on Zoom these days. UW created a system that we could do it remotely in about 2 or 3 weeks last March.
That's amazing.
Which I think is really impressive.
Brilliant. Well, I'd recommend anyone sort of getting together with you and you know, at the end of the day, it's just a conversation, isn't it? And you know, you can, you can't. There's interest, or there's, you know, but it's only a conversation, and that conversation doesn't have to last forever. And it's always good to network. And you've been in the Cobra Club now for quite a few months, I believe, more than a year, I believe now, Shari. And how have you found the journey in the Cobra Club?
I've actually really enjoyed Cobra Club. It's now the only, at the moment, it's the only regular paid one I'm doing. And to be honest, I think it's superb value. And yeah, it's not just the networking meetings and the one-to-ones. I've had a lot of really interesting one-to-ones with members. So the Friday meeting that John does, the free sort of networking, what does he call it? Hub?
Network Connect.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to remember the term he uses, but that is really, really helpful. Sort of tips and how to do it, because most of us, well, I think when you stop learning, you go backwards, and even people who've been networking for many years can still learn, and I know I've got a lot I can still learn, so that's really, really helpful.
Me too. It's amazing how much business you can get from networking. It's quite it's
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Shari. It's it's been fantastic to have you on the show today, and yeah, thanks for getting your sort of message out there. And yeah, maybe on LinkedIn you can put your details in the chat as well, so anyone watching this show back over time knows how to get in contact with you. But well done, you survived your first LinkedIn Live.
really well.
Fantastic. So yeah, big thank you, Shari, and we'll see you again soon. Yeah.
Defo. I'm going to take out the VT and you'll disappear.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to ask Andrew a question now.
Okay, go on then, Ed. Okay, thanks for that. Yeah, I just want to say thanks once again to Shari and Alex today, and yeah, no, really appreciate that and all their kind and informative words. But anyway, my hero of the week this week is going to be Tristan Hillard-Smith, who's working with us on a product launch, and he's our GDPR guy. And I have to say, I now understand a lot more about GDPR, the ins and outs, where your data used to be, and it's back to that conversation with Alex. And I think Tristan has gone over and above. Yeah.
I've learned a huge amount, and it's just lovely when you work with people. It's what I was saying about Louise as well, because they work together, Louise. And
yeah, it's proactive, being proactive in a job, over delivering. Yeah,
problem solvers, people who actually recognise an issue, get it solved, get it rectified, move on, and it's a joy to work with, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So my hero of the week is Tristan Hillard-Smith from.
I've got another question for you, Mr. Hatcher.
Oh yes.
In the world of business, when you're in the club, people often come and speak to you because you being a business advisor of esteemed value.
Yes.
What would your top tips be to sort of someone coming into the business world who sort of wanted to get better at marketing and networking their business and sort of starting off? What sort of top tips would you give them? Just asking.
No pressure there. Really. Have a plan before you start. Have a little bit of an idea. Do some research. Come up with a basic plan. It doesn't have to be anything sort of, 3 pages long or anything, but just come up with a simple plan that will probably not go to plan when it, first and foremost happens. But at least you've got something in your mind that you want to do, you want to achieve. And so keep it simple, meet as many people as you can, speak to as many people about how they market their businesses. And, once you've sort of got your eye in a little bit, then come and speak to someone like your good self, Ed, or myself, or other people in the Cobra Club, Other people then can start to direct, give you ideas about what you've seen and what you're doing so far versus where you can go after that. So it's really important to go and get a little bit of experience, not put too much pressure on yourself, and then go and review that experience that you've had and then start making changes. But the main thing is not to put too much pressure on yourself right at the start. And the other thing that I see is people do go into business that a lot of them don't have the resources to take care of themselves early on. So you make sure you're fluid.
I think, well, it's sound advice, and a lot of people are very good at what they do. They start a business because they're very good at what they do, and then think that they could just run a business. And some people can, but why would you not get a little bit of help and advice and a little bit of support when you're doing that? And that's really where Mr. Hatcher steps in, just to give people a sort of roadmap, if you like, don't you, Andy? Just to take them from now moving forwards.
Yeah. Thanks, Ed. Yeah, it's a big old minefield going into a business, and if it was that easy, everyone literally would be doing it. So there's a lot to know. There's a million different pitfalls, but if you get it right and you get it working, get your sales pipeline going. One of the hardest things to do, get your sales pipeline going and keep it going. And that's when, once again, speaking of a sales expert like Ed, can really help you out, because they'll give you different ideas of how to keep that pipeline going. And it's another thing you see, isn't it? You get a bit of work to start with, and it dries up, and then nothing happens. Stop, start.
But one client that they sort of took from their employed position into their self-employed position, and that client moves on, changes, whatever, and then they don't have any more business.
It's
you see, don't we?
Yeah, spend time on your sales pipeline. That's my definitely some sound advice. That is
good.
Fantastic. So
Pearson says hello.
Hello, Philippa. How you doing? Nice to see you.
And Cherie says hi to Christina D'Souza, because Christina D'Souza said hi to her. Yeah, I see.
Hi, Cherie.
Hi, Cherie.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's been a good show today. I think, Ed, we are sort of coming towards the end of the show, and we've still got to get through, because we've got stacks of stuff going on inside the club at the moment. It's it's taken off again. I mean, it's been a little bit quiet during the summer, as we'd all expect, but now it's starting to motor. So if you're out there and you're not part of the club, come and get involved, and you'll see a little video of that at the moment. But what we should do now, Ed, is probably go through the weekly events.
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah. So you ready for this, are you?
I'm ready, sir.
Just before we do that, I want to give a big shout out to Hannah, who does all our marketing material, Cottontail Creative Media. If you're looking for media for your podcasty show or your live show, have a chat with Hannah at Cottontail Creative Media. And right, so here we go, Ed. Let's hit the weekly events. All right, so we go.
Well, you can start the week off with me. Come and visit me at Monday Motivation. I run it every Monday from 9 till 10. Come get your diary full of appointments for the upcoming week.
Fantastic. And then we have a Monday at 3 p.m. at Christie's Virtual Coffee Club. It's virtual and there's coffee.
Then go and get creative on that coffee buzz. Go and join Hannah between 4 and 5 at Cobra Creative every Monday.
Fantastic. Well done, Hannah. Then we have Mr. 007 himself, Mr. 00 Heaven, Mr. Zafran Khan, Monday Mayhem, in Birmingham Central, weekly on Monday, 7:30 p.m.
And then you can pop along on Tuesday morning, 10:30 to 11:30 for a bit of Judith West at Quest West, a bit of business networking and a bit of Bristol networks.
Fantastic. She's not no longer the business grandmother. She is the I can't remember. She's the introducer on Taylor Tuesdays at 12.
And then you can pop to see Victoria Wood in the Cobra office every Tuesday at 1:30 to 2:30.
Katrina Ellis from the Isle of Man, Coach GT, Python Troubleshooters, every Tuesday 4 p.m. to 5 p.m.
And then you can do Wednesday 2 to 3:30 with the inspiration best-selling #1 Amazon authoress, Beverly Lockett. 2 to 3:30.
Fantastic. Then all the way up the top of Snowdon Summit, top of the hill, weekly on Wednesday, 4 p.m. to 5:30, the virtual Snowdon Summit event at Hampstead.
And then the big one, the mother of all networking meetings. Come along on a Wednesday evening, join Andrew and me, bring a drink. It's time to stay connected with us 7 till 9 o'clock every Wednesday.
Fantastic. Then we have John, Mr. Jonathan Boyd, every Thursday, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m.
And then the main event, as Barry would call it, every Thursday, 1 till 2, the Cobra Live Link Up, where Hertfordshire businesses can network with the rest of the UK.
Fantastic. Then we have Mr. Chris Mason with the Cobra Strike. You like bowling? You like balls? Come along to Chris's networking event every Thursday, 4 p.m.
And then join the inspirational Louise Bonplat for Cobra Gymnastic every Friday morning, 8 till 9, in the chips of the south coast of the village.
Fantastic. Then there's Mr. Shane Yates, Rock and Roll Shane, every Friday, 9:30 to 11 a.m.
Woo! And then you've got to get on the train. Good. Yes. Alan Camp with Cobra Express every Friday, 2 to 3:30. The business Scotland connect with the rest of the UK.
Fantastic. And the last one of the week, Sharon Ritchie with the Wind Down Friday, every Friday, 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Lovely week. Log on, nice glass of wine. We'll see you there.
See you there.
See you
I love your
there.
guitar playing all through that, Andy. You're very good.
Where do we see you?
It's there. There is nowhere else.
Fantastic.
Great lineup of meetings.
Christine D'Souza. I couldn't agree more. Absolutely.
I couldn't agree more.
Couldn't agree more. Fantastic.
Couldn't agree more.
So, Ed, it's rapidly coming to the end of the show. Lots going on, and I just want to give one more last shout out to this event coming up here, which is networking at a business generator. That's next Wednesday onwards from 12 to 1 p.m. inside the club. If you're a member of the Cobra Club, come and chat to Ed and Andy every Monday at 1 p.m. Review your sales strategy, discuss your business strategy. So it's all about strategy, sales, moving your business forward. And snacks going on. We've got Chris Cutting starting his CV advisory courses.
Great.
So that's happening at the club very soon. So I recommend anyone that you know that's looking to change jobs and positions to get their CV in order. You can book that through Eventbrite or come and find out about it at the Cobra Club. Stuff is going on all over the place. So
busy.
Absolutely. Right, so what we're going to do, Ed, we are going to play out, and we'll see you next week, folks. So
Over and out, everybody.
Go over and out. Just let me find it. Here we go. Over and out. Toodly, everyone. Bye.
Now you're watching me, yeah, all eyes on me, 'cause I've been living the good life. So come fly with me into my fantasy, and we be loving the good life, good life.
I think this dream now just hit me. Why don't you just go there with me? Surfing the skies and splash in the clouds, dance in the crowds and laugh out loud. Holding your hand, unfolding a plan. Two souls in a land like gold in a pan. Float in the breeze or soak in the sea. Come go there with me where we both wanna be. Lie on the beach or fly in the streets. I'm trying to keep this vine in the reach. Putting everything I do aside, me and you are first. We can travel to the very end of the universe. You and me are meant to be divine energy. Living with no rules in a pool of serenity. Come be my fantasy, go away with me. Lock us up in a dream and throw away the keys. Come on, live this up now. Good life, good laugh, good love now. Come on, live this with me. Good laugh, good love, we live free. Come on, live this up now. Good life, good laugh, good love now. Come on, live this with me. Good laugh, good love, we live free. We need to rise with these new eyes. Pull the disguise off of these blue skies. Lights in the city reflect off the shoreline. When you're living this life, you want more time. Rewind the time, align planets. Ride this comet to a new dynamic. Your eyes on me, mine on you. Living the good life, we do what
Now
we
you're
want to.
watching me, yeah, all